All right, let's get into it. What iconic band manages to mix masks, mayhem, and metal to create straight up magic on stage? Slipknot. You know it, you love it, or you're at least a little scared of it. And honestly, same. Hey, it's Emma, and I'm feeling super curious today. Like, detective with receipts curious. We're going deep into the masks, the music, and the messiness behind one of the most explosive bands on Earth. So, picture this. Slipknot is a heavy metal band from Des Moines, Iowa. Yes, Iowa. Cornfields and chaos, honey. They formed in the mid-90s and blew up with their self-titled debut by the end of the decade. The look. Masks like a horror runway show. The sound. 9 people attacking your speakers. A sampler and a DJ sprinkling nightmare glitter on top. And the impact was massive. We're talking platinum records, global tours, and a fan base that treats live shows like religious rituals, in the best way. Okay, story time. I have to tell you about the first Slipknot show I ever went to. I was like low-key a skeptic. I mean, I love a dramatic eyeliner moment, but 9 masked men with kegs and pyro? Big yikes. A friend calls me last minute with a ticket. I say, fine, I'll go. I'll wear black. I'll hydrate. We walk in and the energy is feral. You can feel the floor breathing. The pit looks like a whirlpool. And I'm already calculating where the exits are, just saying. Then the lights drop. Sean Crahan, who's one of the founding percussionists and the creative wild child of the group, is smashing a keg like it owes him rent. Corey Taylor, the vocalist who came over from a local band called Stone Sour in the late 90s, stalks the stage like a slasher movie lead. And suddenly, it's not scary. It's theater. It's choreography. It's this tight, pulsing machine. At first, I'm clinging to my tote like it's body armor. Within 3 songs, I'm yelling lyrics with strangers who are like the kindest chaos gremlins you'll ever meet. By the end, I'm hoarse, sweaty, and obsessed. Total vibe. All right, let's jump to the basics. Slipknot is what happens if a drumline, a metal band, and an avant-garde theater troupe had a kismet moment in a haunted corn maze. They started building this thing around 1995 out in Des Moines. Early days, they literally self-funded studio time. We're talking about $40,000 before a label even blinked. Bold. That gamble led to a demo that put them on the industry radar. By the end of the decade, their debut album hits platinum. Roadrunner Records first to do that, and the tours go global. Then the eras stack. Iowa in the early 2000s, which is heavy as sin. Volume 3 pushes artistry and wins them a Grammy. All Hope Is Gone tops charts. Then Tragedy, Rebuilding, and new chapters with The Gray Chapter, We Are Not Your Kind, and The End. So far, closing out their long run with Roadrunner in the early 2020s. Let's talk people, because the personalities here matter. Sean Crahan, also called Clown, is a founding percussionist and the conceptual heartbeat. If I were Sean in those gas station planning sessions back in the day, it's 3 a.m., the coffee is terrible, and I'm sketching masks on a receipt because I know this band needs to look like it sounds. Paul Gray, the bassist and co-founder who passed in 2010, was the emotional core. If I were Paul in the 90s, I'm dragging gear through the Iowa winter and chasing a sound we can feel in our ribs. Joey Jordison, the original drummer, is a legend. Insane speed, creativity for days. If I were Joey, I'm writing riffs at warp speed, then stepping on stage like the kit might combust, and I'm here for it. And the rest of the crew? Corey Taylor brings that blend of melody and menace that made radio pay attention without sanding the edges. Jim Root is the guitarist with surgical riff hands. Mick Thompson, the other guitarist, plays like a chainsaw learned music theory. Craig Jones, the sampler and keys guy for most of the band's run, translated the studio weirdness onto the stage. Sid Wilson, the DJ, brings parkour energy. Chris Fenn was one of the longtime percussionists who later had a legal dispute with the band about payments. New school additions include Alessandro Venturella on bass. Fans pegged him in 2014 by his hand tattoo because Slipknot fans are basically CSI with louder shirts. Jay Weinberg drummed through the mid-2010s, and in 2024, Eloy Casagrande, formerly of Sepultura, took over drums and absolutely slayed. Origins-wise, the Des Moines scene in the early 90s was this rotating cast. Bands like Modifidius, Body Pit, Vex, people swapped instruments, traded demos, tested chemistry. It's giving garage lab energy. And here's a wild receipt. In the mid-90s, they brought in samples and turntables live. Not as a gimmick, but to make the stage sound like the studio chaos. That, plus 2 custom percussionists, in addition to the drummer, turned shows into a rhythmic stampede. No wonder their pits feel like controlled weather events. Okay, let's move on to the messier tea. The big unanswered question fans still debate is Joey Jordison's exit in the 2010s. The band announced he was out, and Joey said he didn't quit, he was blindsided. A few years later, he shared he had transverse myelitis, a neurological condition that affected his drumming near the end. If I'm honest, I think it's never just one thing: health, creative direction, business pressure. This band is a machine, with festivals, films, merch, the whole Slipknot economy. When that engine is roaring, compassion and communication can, unfortunately, get mid. I don't think there's a cartoon villain here. I think there's pain, pride, and a very public breakup. And speaking of business, Chris Fenn's lawsuit in 2019. Quick definition: he's a longtime percussionist who claimed payment issues tied to multiple band-related companies. The band posted that he was out, then took the post down. Confusing much? This is the double-edged sword of building a brand this big. You get Knotfest, their own traveling festival/museum experience. You get global reach, but you also get spreadsheets on spreadsheets, and sometimes drama. Plus, Slipknot leans into mystique, masks, aliases, replacement members appearing before names do. It's thrilling, but it also feeds speculation every time a post gets deleted. Receipts the fans love to flex. In 2014, when the band kept the new bassist and drummer masked at first, fandom Sherlocks zoomed in on a hand tattoo in a video and clocked Alessandro Venturella. Not me, but me. In 2019, a new masked percussionist appears, and the internet nicknames him Tortilla Man until he's finally identified as Michael Pfaff. Mystery marketing at its finest. In 2023, posts about Craig Jones, the sampler, and later Jay Weinberg, the drummer, go up and vanish, and a new masked keyboardist appears on stage immediately after. In 2024, teaser metadata drops the names Jeff and Eloy. Fans guessed Jeff Karnowski on sampler and Eloy Casagrande on drums. Eloy was confirmed when he debuted live. Jeff remains, heavily speculated. Mystery, managed, very on brand. Now let's look at their cultural reach. Guitar Hero 3 features their Grammy-winning track, Before I Forget, which turned living rooms into mini mosh pits. The TV show The Boys shows up in their Solway Firth video in the late 2010s, which is a perfect pairing of bloody satire and sonic carnage. They even popped up in the movie Rollerball in the early 2000s. And their own festival, Knotfest, is this whole curated world with fire, art, and a museum of band relics. It's not just music, it's an ecosystem. I mean, when a band inspires people to build custom barricades because a crowd once literally split one mid-show in the 2010s, that's cultural force. Here's what sticks with me. The masks aren't just spooky chic, they're a strategy. They center the collective over the individual. They let the lineup evolve in public without the story grinding to a halt. And they make the show feel like a ritual. Slipknot is heavy, yes, but they're also intentional. They switched producers over the years. Ross Robinson for raw nerves, Rick Rubin for dynamics, Dave Fortman for punch, always shaping each era. And even after loss, after lawsuits, after label changes, they keep writing. Sean Crahan has even said there's new music in the works for this period. The machine keeps moving. So that personal journey I had, from fear to fandom, that's the Slipknot effect. Community in the chaos. You show up because you're curious. You leave with a sore neck, a new bestie from the rail, and a realization that art can be violent and vulnerable at the same time. Honestly, iconic. Next time, we're talking the evolution of heavy metal. From leather and spikes to festivals you can bring your mom to. Okay, maybe not your mom, but you get it. So, that's the tea, folks. Can't wait to spill more next time. Later.